Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Best Day Podcast. I am your host, Shantae Grant. Today I want to talk to you about why checking in with yourself is necessary to live a life of intention and to live a life of health and well-being. I'm going to start with just telling you something that recently happened to me and seeing, once again, being reminded how important it is to be in tune with yourself, to be in tune with your mind, your body. Because what happens is so often in the movement of life, in the day to day, your body, your mind might be trying to communicate something to you. Hey, we need this. Hey, this feels this way. And in the just movement of, I got to go from here, then do that. I got to do this. I can't take time to see what that means. We push aside, we bury, we ignore, we postpone our minds and body trying to tell us things that are for our good. And that is not healthy. You probably can think of a time where you're like, in so many instances, oh, my body was telling me something about a person and I didn't get in tune with that. And I ended up learning the hard way. Oh, my body was trying to tell me I needed to rest. And I ignored that. My body was telling me I needed to get up and move and do this X, Y, or Z. I didn't do that. Right? My mind, my body was telling me that I felt X, Y, or Z, or that this season of life was coming to an end, or so many things, right? But because you were not in tune with you either ignored it, didn't even hear it in the first place or sense it, said it was something else. And so I want to make this really simple because this might sound like, that sounds complicated. What is this? So let me make it really plain. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, months by the time you hear this, but I was previewing my week like I do every Sunday night. So it was a Sunday night previewing my week. And as I'm previewing my week and starting to write and think about what I have coming up, what's most important, right? Working through the C-tone method that I teach for previewing and planning your months and weeks. If you don't know what that is, I'll link to the guide that teaches you exactly how to do that in the show notes today. So I'm going through C-toning my week, and I can feel in my body as I'm writing things down or thinking about what I'm going to do on Monday, my body's like, you know what? We're not doing that. We're not supposed to be working on Mondays, remember? And I literally was like, oh, you're right. So rewind to 2022. At the start of 2022 and for years, I have taken Mondays off. That has been a day that allows me to slowly move into the week, kind of see what I need to do. And it can be a mixture of things: rest, read, run, do things around the house, run errands, things that are easier for me to do without having two little ones with me. It can vary, but it's all based on what I actually need on that Monday. I used to call it Me Mondays, right? And in 2022, I started a business program, the Goldman Sachs Small Business Program, which was very aggressive, 4 calls a week, homework, watching videos outside of the live classes. And so I knew I needed to bring Monday back into the work week because in addition to a full-time school schedule, now I still have a company to run and work there. So I added Mondays back into the fold, which was fine because it was a privilege to do so, because it was a privilege to be chosen for this program. So, the classes went on, and in December they stopped for the entire month of December. And then in January we picked back up, but it's not at that same pace. So January, February, March all go by, or almost all of March. I had this revelation in March. And I realized, so the classes aren't 4 calls a week now, they're more sporadic. Maybe you'll have a call twice a month. And I realized, oh, Shantae, we're still operating under a condition that is no longer here. The condition was, as long as we have this heavy pace of classes, you're going to incorporate Monday to either work on schoolwork, because we had calls on Mondays, to work on your schoolwork. So Monday was a day I would do mostly schoolwork and then a little bit of actual work. And then it became just work, right? Those conditions aren't there anymore. So it's time to reevaluate. And so I went 2 full months, and actually 3, because I worked in December. Now just think about it. 3 whole months operating on a system that was no longer relevant. A vital component was gone. And I thought nothing of it. I just kept going as though I guess really just forgetting the fact that the reason I incorporated the Monday working was because of a demand that was no longer there. How many times have you just kept going and forgotten, oh, the reason that I needed to do this is no longer there? I am now operating outside of relevant facts and situations and conditions. That was me. My head, my brain was not remembering that. It was literally my body that told me that. It tensed up when I thought about working, scheduling what I was going to work on Monday. And it reminded me, sis, hey, we ain't had class on a Monday in 3 months. And yet here we are. It's time to go back to me Monday. And that's exactly what I did. I literally on that Sunday logged into Slack, told my team I will not be there on Monday. So that was just for that Monday. I let them know tomorrow I will not be in the office. And then on Tuesday, which is when we have our team meetings, I said, going forward, I'm going back to not being in the office on Mondays, and I will be unavailable, unreachable. Let me tell you why this is important, because here's another thing that I also had to check in with myself and remind myself. Even on the Mondays when I would take off, I would check in my email, check in the Slack, make sure no one needed anything. Guess what? 100% of the time, they didn't need anything. And I realized, hold on, every person who works for my company, every member of this team, whether they're an employee, a contractor, they are not expected by me. There is no expectation to check emails, to check into Slack when you are not working during your working hours. There is no expectation. So why am I treating me, another valued member of my team, any differently? I don't expect you to check into Slack. I don't expect you to check into your email. So I don't expect you to log into our project management software. So why was I expecting me to do that? I was almost about to do something that I teach you all, which, let me be clear, I teach this because we all need it, not because I'm on top of some mountain looking down to you saying, my little people, let me teach you how to live a life of intention because I have conquered and mastered it all. Not so. Now, I am excellent at living a life of intention and being mindful of when something that I'm doing is leaning away from that, right? That takes consistency, and it takes effort, because you build that consistency and it acts as a bar to say, hey, you're going outside the lines. So in my new car, when I go outside of a line on the like when I'm driving on the highway, the steering wheel will wobble and say, hey, sis, you about to be outside the lines. That is how I have built my life. And that's what you can too. When you build in consistency, it creates those little signals that will say, you're going outside the lines. Your line is this. Your boundary is this. You said you won't do this. You said you are a person who does this. And I can see you teeter-tottering outside that line. Come on back in. That's one of the benefits of not only checking in with yourself, living a life of intention, but really being clear on the things, what those boundaries are. I have gone way off. Let's bring it back, Shantae. But what I want to say is you have to be very, very careful of falling into default living, because that is what I am teaching against. When I am teaching about intentionality and a part of that being really in tune with yourself, it is because if you don't, you will fall into default living. You will wake up every day of your life and allow life to move you. Move you through the motions, day in, day out, 30, 40, 50, 60 years until you call it a day, right? And I know because you are listening to this podcast, that is not your desire. That is not the life that you want. But we have to be really careful of falling into default living, because I had started to do that. I had just said, oh, well, I work Mondays, so let's just keep it up. The condition is not there. And then not only that, but even when I wasn't, it really came to me like, Shantae, why are you semi-working when you're off? Be off. When you are off, be off, because you allow every other person in the company to do the same. And guess what? You are a person who is a part of this company too. Yes, I am the founder. Yes, I understand. I will always be there, the one who has a connection and a pull, because this is so much more than a company and work for me. It is what I have been gifted and talented to do in the earth in my time here. I understand that. But girl, stop checking your email on Monday, basically. And so I did. It does not take me long to learn a lesson. I'm gonna tell you that. That's the thing about me. I don't play around with like learning things the hard way. Why? No, thank you. Pass. Right. So the benefit of checking in, of being in tune with myself, was my body literally had to communicate something to me that my mind had forgotten, that logic had forgotten, and that's really important. But I'm going to tell you how I was able to get there was the fact that I'm in tune with myself. I take time consistently, daily, weekly, monthly, to pause, to be still, to reflect, to honor myself, because I'm a person who's worthy of being honored. I'm a person by me, right? I'm a person who's worthy of knowing by me. I am a person who I want to be known by me. So many times I ask people, who are you? And they don't know the answer. And of all the humans on the planet, you are the person who spends the most time with you. So I'd imagine you would be the person to possess the most information to know who you are. But again, default living, I'm just whatever society says this is what I should do. I should get this job. I should go here. I should have 2.5 kids. I should live on this street. I should drive this kind of car. I should wear these kind of clothes. I should listen to this kind of music. I should like this kind of TV show. I should drink my coffee out of this mug from this coffee shop because that's default living. I'm going to do that and keep doing that until the end. At Best Today, we exist to help women just like you be your best one today at a time. So each week on the podcast, we are going to highlight your stories and your voices. So let's see what's in the inbox today. Today, we have a 5-star review of our Not Waiting for January class from Julie, who writes, "Just what I needed. Just the kick in the butt I needed to get started on the just one thing I need to get moving on. Short, sweet, to the point, and pulls no punches. The best time to start is today. Highly, highly recommend." Thank you, Julie, for highly, highly recommending the Not Waiting for January class replay. You can get started right now by going to notwaitingforjanuary.com and learn how to truly optimize your time, how to build your consistency muscle, and identify the things that are likely stopping you from doing that right now. You are about 1 minute away. If you go to notwaitingforjanuary.com, you will get immediate access to the class. You'll also be able to pause, take notes as needed, and there is a box where you can submit your questions to us and we will answer for you. So go to notwaitingforjanuary.com and find out why so many people have given it 5-star reviews. Notwaitingforjanuary.com. That's default living. And that is how 99% of the world is probably living. 98 if I want to be generous. Now, my hope is that my work will help to decrease that number and bring to your attention that you are living by default, so that when you find yourself creeping into that, oh, hold on, I'm getting off topic again. Let's go back. So the enemy here is default living, right? And one of the ways we can help with that is being in tune with ourselves. And how do we do that? How do I do that to the place where I was able to hear that from my body? Reflection, not being once a month not once a quarter, me and my girls, we go to the spa and no. This needs to be a part of who you are in your DNA, right? It needs to be built into your DNA, into your life. And so I'm going to give you two things that are very simple to start with. They may feel extremely uncomfortable when you start. So I'm just going to let you know that. And starting anything new or picking anything back up, allow things to be bumpy, clunky, uncomfortable. I say that all the time. But because I am a person who takes the time at the beginning of my day, throughout my day, as often as I need, every night, to just pause, right? And this isn't like go sit in a special room designed with something and a candle. And no, it's literally wherever you are in any setting, because that's a setup to say the only way to check in yourself is when you have this ideal environment. It's a setup, because the truth of the matter is we need to be able to do this at any time, in anywhere, in any environment, in any setting, right? Clearly some are more ideal, but checking in with yourself. How often are you taking time to be still, number one, that is important. Stop moving. Stop talking for a minute. Listen. Let quiet be loud. Because sometimes, especially when you're getting used to just being still and letting the quiet be, it is very loud. And so many times we don't want to slow down and be still because you're afraid of what you're going to hear. All the stuff you've been trying to avoid by keep moving. But what you're going to hear is you. That's what I want you to hear. What you're going to hear is, man, we're really sad. We're struggling. And we're not accepting it because we just keep moving. But we're going to continue to struggle until we figure out, man, what am I so sad about? What am I struggling with? Why am I so tired? Why do I feel exhausted? Or, man, we're so content. We're full of joy. Life is good. Because maybe you're moving, and you haven't taken time to figure out that. I don't know what it is you need to hear from you. But I'm going to tell you, you won't hear it living by default and always on the move. Everybody. If you have 10 children under the age of 10, 4 jobs, and you're in full-time school, first of all, but you get what I'm saying, right? There's time for you to check in with yourself. As a matter of fact, I would argue you need it more, right? So before I always hear, oh, but I, and I'm like, listen, I have not met every person on the planet, but I have worked with enough humans at every age, stage of life across the world. So it's not just within the United States to trust and believe and know that you have space in your life for checking in with yourself. So how do we build that into your life, into your DNA? I'm going to give you the assignment of taking 3 minutes for quiet reflection in the morning and every evening. Now, after this, I don't want this to be followed by screen time. So I want this to be closer to the last thing you do in the day. And all you're going to do is just sit and be still and remove all sounds. Not even like a white noise situation, right? You can do that after, but I really want the absence of sound as much as you can. And just be for 3 minutes. You can set a timer. And then after that 3 minutes, take 2 minutes and write what comes up. And if nothing comes up, you can write nothing is coming up. But I have a feeling even writing nothing is coming up is going to start making things come up. So that's a total of 10 minutes in a day, 3 minutes of just quiet stillness, 2 minutes of reflection. And at the end of the day, do the same. And build that consistency muscle. Do it every single day, wherever you are, traveling, home, wherever. Give yourself the space to hear because you can't hear in the busyness of life initially. That's the benefit. I'm going to tell you about how great this is. You got to slow down. You got to be still. You got to let the quiet be loud because the benefit of that is then the more you do that, when you are in the movement of life, you've built this muscle. You've taught yourself this thing that you will be able to hear things that you otherwise didn't before. You'll be able to feel something is off here. I think I need this. And you'll be able to honor that or explore it, right? I'm going to offer you the Anytime Today journal as well. If you don't know what that is, I'll link to it in the show note. It is our journal that makes it very easy and effective to check in with yourself as often as you need. It has 4 prompts to choose from, or you can choose to write freely without a prompt. Today I am, today I feel, today I need, today I want. It gives you the space to process what you're feeling, what you need, what you want, how you are. Because the more you do that, even when you feel like, I don't know what to write here, or there's nothing really I want to feel, just practicing, you're going to realize there's so much to be written and to be said. So the benefit of checking in with yourself, of just starting with this simple practice of 3 minutes plus 2 minutes of writing, 3 minutes, 2 minutes of writing. Now, if you go past the 2 minutes, please don't stop yourself. Keep going. But this is just to give you a parameter for those of you who are like, I can't even do this. Okay, the 3 minutes may feel like 30 minutes, but you're going to do it anyway. You may not write anything for weeks, but you're going to do it anyway. You're going to get the pen out and at least write, I have nothing to write. Or for some reason, I have nothing to write. Here's how that makes me feel. Or get your Anytime Today journal and write, right? Because in doing this, you'll find as you maneuver throughout life, throughout your day to day, You're going to be more in tune with how you feel instead of brushing it off, maybe not even recognizing or noticing what your body is trying to tell you, what you want or need. And you'll be more in tune and able to honor what you need and explore and do something about it, right? Because it might not be something you can do something about immediately, but it's waking you up to something that needs your attention, right? And I will say there are 4 things that we have to agree on if we're gonna work on this together. Okay. One is that you are an important person in your life. 2, you are worth knowing by you. 3, stillness and time for reflection are necessary in living a healthy and intentional life. I need you to agree with me that you cannot go day in and day out in constant movement without time for reflection and stillness. And 4, you are worthy of the effort and the time that this takes, especially initially. If we can agree on those foundational 4 things, you are ready to get started. You're ready to get started. 3 minutes in the morning, 3 minutes in the evening. And really, if you're like, you know what, Shantae, going to take me up a level, 3 minutes in your afternoon as well with 2 minutes of writing. That's now gotten us to 15 minutes daily with consistency. And if you need help with consistency, in May, if you're listening in real time of this year, we're doing a consistency challenge. More on that is coming your way. But if you go to besttoday.co/consistency, you can sign up for that absolutely free, just a challenge to really help you to build your consistency muscle. Okay? You're an important person. You're worth knowing. You're worth stillness and time for reflection. You're worth the effort and time it might take. You're worth moving through the discomfort and getting started. Let me know how it goes for you. Come over to the Best Today community, which your first 3 days are free. It is our online community and app that will surround you with what you need to live an intentional life. I invite you to be there. We have live calls. We have co-working hours. It is a special and safe community that I have created just for you. You can go to besttodaycommunity.com to sign up and join us. Like I said, your first 3 days are free if you want to come in and take a look around, say hello, let us know what you need, how I can help. All right. I hope you walk away from this episode believing that you have to incorporate this time for stillness and reflection because you are worth it. Thank you for being present with me for this week's episode of the Best Today podcast. Until next time, please remember that you are capable and you are worthy of being your best one today at a time. And you have everything you need to have everything you want. So go on and shout it out as you live it out each day. This is what my best today looks like. I'll talk to you on the next episode. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Best Today podcast, you are going to love the Best Today Guide. Our Better Than a Planner guide teaches you how to get clear on what you want, identify your self-destructive habits and behaviors, and intentionally create space to prioritize yourself every single day. Don't go the journey to being your best one today at a time without the Best Today Guide. See inside its pages and order yours today at besttodayguide.com. Even better, when you order the Best Today Guide, we gift you with your first month free inside of the Best Today membership. So what are you waiting for? We're giving you everything you need to trade busy for intention. Go to besttodayguide.com and order yours today and join thousands of women across the globe proclaiming each day, this is what my best today looks like.